Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Konrad Gorlinski. Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has taken to Facebook to announce that the country has crossed 20 million administered vaccine doses. The number of new cases keeps falling, with only 579 new cases reported by the Health Ministry today. The government had forecasted that the country would cross the 20 million mark by the end of June. We are not ceasing our quest for normality. We have already performed 20 million vaccinations. We are consistently carrying out the vaccination campaign, while wisely managing the opening up of the economy and social life. Thank you to everyone involved in this difficult process. The increase in the number of vaccinated people is a result of, among others, the government's #Vaccinate campaign. Meanwhile, Warsaw City Hall organized a drop-in for vaccination campaign this weekend. In 5 places in the capital, one can be vaccinated with a 1-dose Johnson&Johnson vaccine.
Odbiór mieszkańców Warszawy jest bardzo pozytywny.
Thanks to single-dose vaccinations from Johnson&Johnson, we are coming closer to herd immunity. Nearly 6,800,000 people have already been fully vaccinated.
Także widać, że pacjenci bardzo chcą zaszczepić się przed wakacjami.
The process to ease restrictions is continuing. This weekend is the first during which it's possible to eat inside a restaurant, work out at the gym, or go to the pool. As part of the easing of restrictions, all students are returning to in-person instruction beginning tomorrow. And Marlena Maląg, the Polish Minister of Family and Social Policy, has delivered a message to foster parents on Foster Parenting Day. The day has been a Polish holiday celebrated on May 30th since it was introduced by Parliament in 2006.
Państwo jako rodzice zastępczy.
I want to thank you for all you do, for your daily efforts and open hearts. I wish you good health and satisfaction from the work you do for children. Parenting is an extraordinary adventure. It is a great responsibility, but also the satisfaction and joy of seeing the next generation grow up and, before we know it, fly out of the nest and soon start a family of their own. You, as foster parents, family foster care workers, and employees of institutional forms of foster care, help children regain the belief that they deserve the best. You help them spread their wings. You give them a sense of security and a beautiful testimony of care for other human beings.
Pogody ducha I satysfakcji z pracy na rzecz dzieci.
Russia will move ahead with a second $500 million loan to Belarus next month, following talks between the two countries' leaders. This amid uproar in the West over the grounding of a passenger jet in Minsk and the arrest of dissident blogger Roman Protasevich. President Vladimir Putin and Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko held a second day of talks as well as a yacht tour in the southern Russian city of Sochi on Saturday, as the Russian leader showed his long-standing ally support in this latest standoff with the West. Russia promised Belarus a $1.5 billion loan last year as part of Moscow's efforts to stabilize its neighbor. Minsk received a first installment of $500 million in October. Belarus is to receive the second tranche before the end of June. Several Western countries accused Belarus of piracy this week after Belarusian air traffic control informed the pilot of a Ryanair passenger jet of a hoax bomb threat. Minsk scrambled a MiG-29 fighter to escort the jetliner down, and then arrested Roman Protasevich, a blogger and critic of Lukashenko, who was on board. Meanwhile, the Belarusian diaspora has organized mass protests across the West against the regime in Minsk. The participants of a demonstration in Toronto called on President Biden to change his policies toward Russia.
So we are demanding from Biden to discuss with Putin Belarusian situation in Belarus in the way which is good for Belarusian people, not good for Russia. He has to stand up for Belarus because people in Belarus suffering now. They cannot say anything against the government. They have no rights. A lot of people stay in the prison as political prisoners. A lot of people just getting killed. People just getting traumatized. People cannot breathe freely. They have no rights.
The opposition leader spoke to the crowd at the most numerous of all the demonstrations organized in Vilnius, Lithuania.
Конечно, я Очень воодушевлена той.
I am very touched by the support I see in Lithuania and all around the world, but it's a pity that it's been a year and we haven't won yet. But I'm sure very soon changes will come. New elections will come because there is no other way. Belarusians won't give up, and I'm sure of that because I talk to Belarusians every day. That inner light that moves them toward change is not fading. At the moment, we fight as we can, but very soon we'll be able to return home.
Общаюсь с белорусами каждый день, которые остались.
Lithuania has sheltered hundreds of Belarusians who it says risked detention in their country after the presidential election, including Chinkanuskaya. Colombian President Ivan Duque has stated that the country will begin the maximum deployment of military personnel in the western province of Valle del Cauca and its capital, Cali, after 4 people died in protests to mark a month of anti-government demonstrations. The events in Cali have gone so far that experts now call it an open attempt of rebellion against the state by armed far-left militant groups. The 4 died in and around Cali on Friday as tens of thousands marched across the country in the latest in demonstrations that started on April 28 to oppose tax reforms that have since expanded to include wide-ranging demands. The president states that more than 7,000 personnel will be sent to clear road blockades, including members of the Navy. Today in the city of Cali, we saw many painful incidents of armed people shooting, a cruel and painful eyewitness statement of a citizen who had shot into a group of people and then injured another citizen. We have seen acts of vandalism, and we have seen acts of destruction of public infrastructure. I want to make it absolutely clear. From tonight begins the maximum deployment of military assistance to the National Police in Cali and the province of Valle. This deployment will be headed by experienced officials. The governor of Valle del Cauca has earlier declared that curfew would start in the province from 7 p.m. At least 17 civilians have died in connection with protests, the government said. 2 police officers were also earlier reported killed. The demonstrations have pressured the government and lawmakers into shelving the tax and health reforms and prompted the resignation of former finance minister Alberto Caraquilla. Protester demands now also include a basic income, opportunities for young people, and an end to alleged police violence. Thanks for tuning in this evening, and have a wonderful week ahead.